Hello. Hey, hey, hey. You know what time it is, and you know who it is. The hostess with the mostest, Mad Morgan, and you're listening to Car Musings. How you doing? How's it going? I don't know if it's day or night or whatever the case may be, but how are you? Are you doing well? I hope so. I hope wherever you are in your neck of the woods, things are good, not so chaotic. Turn off the TV, turn off the news, turn off all that bullshit because you know what? Unfortunately, in today's world, the majority of that, if it's not made up, it's completely generated. It's just crap. Just remember, don't worry about tomorrow, focus on today. That's my message of the day. Don't worry about tomorrow, focus on today. That's the best advice I can give you. It really is. It's the best advice I can give you. That's moving forward the best way to do it. Anyways, all that aside, hey, how's your integrity? You keeping your integrity in check? You don't know what integrity means? Look it up, but I'll give you a rough little idea. Basically, it means doing the right thing when no one else is watching. And a lot of you mofos really need to know what that means, doing the right thing. Just saying, just saying. Be the better person because it's a domino effect. You influence those around you more than you realize. Anyways, today is in my neck of the woods. It's a nice rainy day, and it's kind of good because it helps clear out all the slush and the slime and the sand and the salt and everything else for the winter time. But I don't know. It's been a long, interesting winter, and I think I'm actually at the point where I'm doing the hey, let's sell off everything that isn't tied down type scenario in my life, unfortunately. Um, oh, fuck, here you go. Mad Morgan's going on another pity me friggin' party. No, it's not a pity me party. It's reality, my friends. It's reality. And I'm hoping you don't have to suffer it. If those of you that are blessed with having, a job and, stability and everything else, because society has been kind to you, great, more power to you. But for those of us, unfortunately, that have not been treated so kindly. We have to do what we got to do to make ends meet, especially when other people rely on us. So, all that aside, what are we talking about today? Well, there is some controversial things I could bring up, but there is some stuff that I'm pretty sure if I put out there on the airwaves, I'll be having some guys in black suits show up at my front door, and I really don't want that. But here's what I want to talk about today. And it's interesting, and I'm pretty sure a bunch of you have thought of this as well. But did you ever sit and back and wonder how certain people, who obviously seem very destructive to society and to the world peace, how they end up getting in power? Now, that's a really good question. How do these people get in power? Well, unfortunately, when you live in a world where money seems to be the ruling factor, which is the evil of everything, that seems to be the ruling factor, which puts people into these positions in which they're in. Sad but true. Because they actually have the money, they play the game, they influence the right people, they get into power. Because once you have all the money, what more do you want? The next thing typically people want is power. And if they don't want power, they want mortality or immortality. They want to live forever. Fair enough. I rather those work on living forever, but some that have got to power should not live forever because, frankly, they don't even deserve to have one life, let alone many lives. But it really has to make you wonder. I mean, it makes me wonder, like, how the fuck do people end up in their positions? And it's from a lot of devious acts. It is either bending over for somebody that has the power to give them their fetishes and selfish needs, or it's playing the game. It's, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I mean, a whole bunch of other factors which contribute to this level of favoritism, this level of, being given extra privilege from those that are privileged. And it all falls down to whenever there was some sort of leader, and that leader went from serving people, serving whoever is under them, whoever is their, substitutes or whatever you call them. There's a name for it. So basically, they're underlings. Whoever governs over their underlings, they got to the point where, oh, well, I know I'm supposed to serve these people, but I want to keep a little extra for myself. And they do. And it starts from that. They're like, oh, well, I can have a comfier life. I don't have to give everything to them. And they get greedy and they get gluttonous. And this is the earliest days on how it starts. They get stuck in this idea because they've been put into a privileged position of authority, tribal leaders or whatever the case may be. But there's, for the most part, a lot of them are honorable. A lot of them are honorable, but then there's going to be that twisted motherfucker that comes along and basically bastardizes the whole concept and basically decides to get selfish and greedy and self-serving and everything else. And that's how it starts. And it becomes a domino effect, unfortunately. But in the earliest days, that is how it starts. And it's unfortunate because if you are in a privileged power of authority and guidance where people are looking to you for answers and protection and being provided for, that is a big responsibility that you should definitely live up to with a sense of honor and duty and everything else. But a lot of these positions, unfortunately, have been corrupted because people saw it as, oh, well, this is a way for me to get a bigger piece of the pie. I already got all the pie, but I want more pie, and I want their pie, and I want this person's pie. To simplify it, that's kind of how it is. So look at governing bodies, look at monarchies, look at all this stuff. Monarchy is probably a little different for the most part. If you're a genuine monarch, you're basically going to be giving. Um, a lot of them recognize their position, and it's an honored position that, frankly, they should respect. Government bodies, not so much. Look at the U.S. of fucking A, that frankly is probably the evilest of them all. And I'm sorry, I know there's a bunch of you Yanks that are listening, but your fucking leader right now is the Antichrist. I hate to break it to you, but you look at predictions, that's the Antichrist right there. And whether or not you choose to recognize that, that's completely up to you. But he is the Antichrist. And if you look at the predictions, that's definitely the Antichrist. And that's somebody that is serving his own agenda. He's not serving your agenda. He's not serving anybody's agenda. Other than his own agenda, he's not serving anybody's agenda. And unfortunately, there's a lot of governments that are like that. Not all the governments are like that. Unfortunately, the British Empire is no longer an empire, and it's a bunch of friggin' pussies at this point that frankly just disrespect the position and are dishonorable towards the institution in which the British Empire once was. It is a failed comparison. I mean, Queen Elizabeth is just rolling over in her grave at this point, rolling over in her grave, seeing how Charles has actually handled stuff. It's unfortunate, and the British government is just fucking stuff up for the rest of the world like there's no tomorrow. You know, just to give you an example, but there are actually some governments that are getting it right. There are. Iceland's getting it right, as an example. Finland's getting it right. Norway's getting it right. There are countries that are smart enough to actually see the writing on the wall long term, not just short term, and basically saying, we make this decision now. Once those floodgates are open, how bad is it going to be overall? That's what it comes down to. So, yeah, people getting these positions now brings back to the original statement, and I'm going to state this, is that there are people in their positions that shouldn't be in their positions. Oh, but they were elected. Well, no, they squeezed by. They played the game. They manipulated. They influenced. They didn't get it honorably. Trump didn't get it honorably. Hell no. He fucking pulled every single punch he possibly could. He basically, no, he didn't pull any punches. He fucking manipulated. From the first term he was in, he was determined to get back into that. And basically, he played every fucking card he had in order to get back in the position of power. And in 1 year, he is the most hated president ever. ever. By all time, he is the most disliked president of the United States. Interestingly enough, eh? Like, I don't know if he realizes how much he's disliked. Like, it's baffling that he thinks he's doing a good job, but he's convinced he is. So there's other leaders that are just dropping the ball. The Canadian government, Mark Carney is a fucking idiot, freaking moron. He's not fixing anything. He's been in power for about a year now and done fuck all. Fuck all he has done. You know, seriously, fuck all. And part of me is like, maybe I should learn Chinese because in the greater scheme of things, the Chinese Empire is looking to rebuild. The Chinese Empire wants to be great again. The Chinese Empire wants to, you know, be the empire that they once were, and they're determined to do it. And the reality is that unfortunately, we might just have to bend the knee to that. We might just have to. We might have no choice. Now, I'm going to say this, and you can mark me on this one and quote me on this one. If the Chinese Empire ends up doing it with a sense of honor and for the goodness and the evolution of humankind, then by all means, I support them. I will jump on that bandwagon. If if it's all about innovation, if it's all about advancement, if it's all about evolution, if it's all about the betterment of people, hell yeah. But not if there's going to be human rights violations. But if they truly come in, I will open the door for China saying, fuck, come on in. You're going to give my family a safe, happy life? Come on in. You can mark my words on that one. Oh, well, you're not being very patriotic. Patriotic to what? The only part of my heritage is doing anything right, from what I understand, is Wales actually mentioned today that they're going to imprison politicians that lie. Great move. And the only other thing is, as much as I don't really give much credence to it, but German side is basically rebuilding their military to defend the world from the evils of the U.S. and the evils of Russia. So, I'm sorry, the British side of me and my nana and grandpa would be upset about this one, but the British Empire is not an empire anymore. The British side of things is a huge disappointment. Like, Queen Elizabeth is just devastated looking down from heaven going, what the fuck are you doing, Charles? Stand up and friggin' fix your country. You know? Stand up and fix the country. Yeah, I'm sorry, but somebody's got to stop being pushed over. Somebody's got to put their foot down. Somebody's actually got to do something and say, enough is a fuck enough. And I'm sorry, but somebody should take out certain leaders. You know who I'm talking about. You can just, you know, cut, read between the lines. I can think of two leaders off the top of my head that should be taken out, and both of them lead what once was superpowers, and they're being removed from those positions. Let me tell you, those two should be taken out right quick and in a hurry, so the world can get back to friggin' normal. Right? The world should get back on track the way it should be. A lot of things should be done differently, but you know, I mean, right now I'm starting to side, you know, on the side of Canada needs to have its own version of ice. Guaranteed, we need to have our own version of ice, right? We do. We need to have our own version of ice, and we should do that. For starters, we need to clean up our backyards. We need to set straight the fuck ups that the Trudeau government did, and we're talking not Pierre Elliott because he did things right, but his son is a fucking asshole and an idiot, and he's run off to bang Carrie Perry, you know. So, spoiled, rotten brat of a legacy. I love it. So the reality is that things need to be fixed and right quick and in a hurry before the infiltrators and the invasion that's happening in the world has a stronger foothold. And from what I understand, there are areas where they have a huge foothold, and that has to be removed. That has to be taken down. That does. That has to be dissolved. Right quick and in a hurry. Fucking send in the military. Clean house. Because otherwise you're gonna lose control of your countries, folks. A leader is supposed to defend its people and defend the country. That is the goal. That is the job. That is what you're supposed to do. Okay? And if you're not doing that, step down from power. Let somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing and so actually going to do the job, do the job. Like, in all honesty, I mean, I'm going to say this. There's some stuff that Trump did that I agree with. There is. I'm not saying all his ideas were bad. It's his extreme ideas that are pretty bad. And they're self serving. But not all his ideas are bad. You know, haven't seen any good thing come out of Russia. Putin is just a fucking idiot. And if we could take him out and all his doppelgangers and all those freaking clones that he hides behind, great, awesome, you know? France has got to get their shit together because that was a stupid idea to fucking let all the third world country people in. Like fucking living in Africa, you go visit Paris. So the reality is that change has got to be made, and governments have got to get on this, like sooner versus later. Sooner versus later, because if the government's not going to stand up, if the leaders that we've appointed or the people that have actually squeaked into these positions by being conniving and underhanded and paying off people, whatever the case may be, they weren't elected by the people, they were elected by friggin' manipulation. But the reality is that if leaders that are supposed to be leaders are not leading, the people will step in and they will say, no, we don't have a leader. We're going to find a new leader, whether you like it or not, because you're not representing well. You are not representing the interests of the people. You're not representing the interests of the country. You are not representing the way it should be. So, if you listen to my previous podcast, it's the same thing. The warning going out to all the invaders that are infiltrating these civilized countries. I'm talking to the leaders now. You better get your shit together. Like, as much as you think you're disarming your society and you're disarming your civilians and you're doing all this stuff, which you think is the best thing because you'll have less resistance, you obviously are fucking stupid to realize that that's not the way there is a majority of people actually think. That's not, you have any ounce of survival, because you do, based on your instincts, you're not just going to roll over and take it. You tell me I can't do something, fine, I'll find another way. Oh, you want to take away my swords, my shields? You want to take away the stuff I can use to defend myself? Yeah, I'll find another way. So don't think for 1 second that there's not other ways that are happening that are actually taking care of this problem, because you won't defend your people. The people will defend themselves and they'll remove you from power. And I'm going worldwide to tell you this. I want all the leaders, if you are part of a dictatorship, if you are a warlord, if you are anything that's underhanded, self-serving yourself, you will be removed from that position. The people will have enough and they will revolt. It is just a matter of time, no matter how much you try to suppress them. It is just a matter of time. So enjoy your limelight while you can, because people will have enough. Everybody in this world wants the same thing: food, shelter, protection, like security. This is what people want. It's not asking a lot. And if you can't step up to the responsibility, somebody's going to say something about it. So smarten up, fly right, do what's required of you, and get on it. The world can still be saved. It's just everybody's got to get their heads out of their asses and say, all right, I guess it's time to actually go to work and do what you're supposed to do. Simple as that. Not rocket science, my friends. Not rocket science. But you just have to make the effort. Anyways, oh yeah, and that trickles down to other leaders too. Leaders of companies, leaders of departments, all that stuff like that. It's a matter of time. Don't kid yourself. It is a matter of time. So, anyways, I'm out. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Thanks for listening to another episode of Car Musings. Thanks for tuning in. Love you. Keep your stick on the ice. Keep your integrity in check. And I'll see you next episode. Bye for now.